Welcome to the Arizona Olmstead Plan Orientation, the Basics Training. In this presentation, you will learn about the history of Olmstead and the Supreme Court decision, Arizona's approach to Olmstead, the Arizona Olmstead Plan, and how to stay connected with Olmstead. The story of the Olmstead case began with these two women, Lois and Elaine. Both of them had diagnoses of mental health conditions and intellectual disabilities and were voluntarily admitted to the psychiatric unit in the state-run Georgia Regional Hospital. Following their medical treatment, the mental health professionals agreed that they were capable of living in the community with appropriate supports. However, Lois and Elaine ended up waiting for years for their community-based supports to be set up, so they both filed suit under the Americans with Disabilities Act for release from the hospital. The lawsuit, which is known as Olmstead versus LC, or the Olmstead Decision, ended up going to the highest court in the country, the United States Supreme Court. The court said that people with disabilities like Lois and Elaine have the right to receive the treatment they need in an integrated setting if that is what they want, if their doctor agrees, if the state has funding for the services, and if it doesn't fundamentally change how the state provides services to people with disabilities. At the time of the decision, the court did not require states to develop a plan, but Arizona chose to do so. Arizona's compliance with the Olmstead Decision has historically been incorporated into rules, policies, and practices. The population targeted to benefit from the Olmstead Plan are all individuals who may be at risk of institutionalization, including individuals with behavioral health needs and members of the Altex program, including tribal Altex programs. Over the next few slides, you will learn how to read the Arizona Olmstead Plan and become familiar with Arizona's Olmstead strategies. The Olmstead Plan starts with an introduction. In the introduction, you will find information about the Olmstead Decision, Arizona's practice of advancing Olmstead, the development of the Arizona Olmstead Plan, the evaluation and transparency of the Olmstead Plan, and resources for access to care and quality of care concerns. With regards to the evaluation and transparency section, this is how access will make sure the plan is reviewed and progress is being made toward the goals while sharing that information with the stakeholders. In the action plan section, there are 8 strategies tied to the Olmstead Plan. Each of the Olmstead strategies contain language or space for objectives, target dates, performance targets, and a progress summary. It is important to note that not all objectives will have performance targets. Since this is an actionable, living document, some performance targets will need to be added later after actions are already taken or data is reviewed. Target dates are also anticipated dates and are subject to change. Now, let's review the strategies that make up the Arizona Olmstead Plan. Strategy number 1. Effective permanent supportive housing for members to successfully reside in the community. This is to increase housing choice and opportunities for our members in the most integrated community setting possible, while making sure housing support services are available. Strategy number 2. Reach-in discharge planning for hospital settings. This is to improve access for care coordination and discharge planning for members in hospital settings. Strategy number 3. Reach-in discharge planning for the justice system. This is to improve discharge planning and care coordination for members exiting the justice system. Strategy number 4. Expansion of home and community-based services for aging individuals with serious mental illness determinations. This is to explore the feasibility of expanding HCBS for the aging SMI population. Strategy number 5. Workforce development initiatives. This is about enhancing the healthcare workforce, meaning those who provide services to our members. Strategy number 6. High-quality network to ensure members are served in the most effective and least restrictive manner. This is to ensure quality and timely services are provided by a high-quality network. Strategy number 7. Person-centered planning enhancements. This is about improving monitoring with service and treatment planning standards. Strategy number 8. Aggregated population data. This is for identifying and monitoring systemic level data for members transitioning to least restrictive settings. Data reports will be made available to the community when completed. In order to understand the Olmstead strategies, you'll need to understand how to read the action plan. Pictured is a real example in strategy number 1. Each strategy is separated out by the strategy number and the name of the strategy. As you can see here, it is labeled Strategy Number 1, Effective Permanent Supportive Housing for Members to Successfully Reside in the Community. Under that, there are 4 columns. The first column lists out the objectives. All strategies have at least one objective, and most have multiple objectives. Some objectives may even have sub-objectives, like this example shows with sub-objectives A and B. Moving to the right with the second column, it lists out the target dates. All objectives have target dates, which are subject to change. The third column lists out the performance targets. Most objectives have actionable and measurable performance targets listed. However, for some, the objective is the performance target. For instance, in this example, sub-objective A is measurable in itself and was not duplicated in the third column. Other objectives may have performance targets added at a later time after actions are already taken or data is reviewed. The fourth and final column is saved for progress summaries when the Olmstead Plan is updated on a quarterly basis. It's important to note that not all objectives will have new progress updates every quarter. In this example, sub-objective B has a progress summary tied to the first bullet in the performance target column. Lastly, under each strategy, we have included a table to record a running list of major accomplishments that have occurred over time based on actions listed within the objectives, sub-objectives, and/or performance targets. As you know, the intent of the design of the Olmstead Plan is for it to be both an actionable and a living plan, so the plan itself may look different from quarter to quarter based on the completion of different objectives, sub-objectives, and performance targets. This table is in place to track the successes of each strategy over time so that interested stakeholders would not have to review multiple past versions of the plan to see if progress has been made. Located at the end of the Olmstead Plan is a section titled Key Terms. Here you will find definitions for certain terms listed within the Olmstead Plan that you may or may not be familiar with. Many of the key terms have links for you to find out more information. Access has developed an internal process for all the Olmstead subject matter experts to submit their quarterly updates for the strategies, objectives, and performance targets they are responsible for. Some strategies have multiple subject matter experts. Updates are due internally within 15 days after the end of each quarter. Those updates are reviewed prior to finalizing and reposting the Olmstead Plan updates to the Olmstead web page before the end of that month. It's important to note that updates do not need to be included for every objective every quarter, just those areas with notable progress or updated data. Once the Olmstead updates are posted every quarter, email notifications are sent out to stakeholders who have subscribed to Olmstead Updates. You will receive more information about how to subscribe to Olmstead Updates on the next slide. There are a few ways to stay connected with Olmstead planning, starting with subscribing to Olmstead Updates on the Access Olmstead web page found at www.azaccess.gov/Olmstead. On the Olmstead web page, click on the blue box titled Subscribe to Olmstead Updates. Enter your email address and start receiving important future email notifications about the Arizona Olmstead Plan, such as notifications when the plan gets updated on a quarterly basis and is posted to the web page. To review the Arizona Olmstead Plan, open the accordion titled Arizona Olmstead Plan to locate and download the plan. This is where you will be able to review the plan and its quarterly updates. If you are subscribed to Olmstead Updates, as mentioned in the previous slide, you will receive future email notifications when the Olmstead Plan has been updated and posted. For additional information on staying connected with Olmstead, such as information about future open public comment periods or participating in Access community forums, Open the accordion titled How to Stay Connected with Olmstead. Lastly, locate the Olmstead email address to share input and feedback with Access about the Olmstead Plan. Moving forward, Access will be tracking any feedback for future consideration of Olmstead planning. Any stakeholder can submit feedback or recommendations at any time during the year by emailing olmstead@azaccess.gov, which is the email inbox specific to Olmstead and monitored on a regular basis. Feel free to share this Olmstead orientation presentation with any interested parties. For example, Access is partnering with its managed care organizations to support efforts in engaging members and their families around the Olmstead Plan by requiring them to review the plan and quarterly progress updates on a regular basis with member advocacy councils and governance committees, including Altex advisory councils when applicable. This is in place for Access to receive feedback on the plan and receive any recommendations for future Olmstead planning from the community of people whom the Olmstead Plan intends to benefit. We encourage you all to share this presentation and the Olmstead webpage with anyone you think might be interested. Thank you for reviewing the Arizona Olmstead Plan orientation. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback about the Arizona Olmstead Plan, please email the Access Olmstead email inbox at olmstead@azaccess.gov.